It's not just between you and your daughters. I mean, you spoke about that right now, but being so successful, being the more accomplished in the corporate sense between two partners, a woman more than the man, these could spark off difficult power equations within a family, within a unit. Did you ever have to go through that?
It can spark all power conflicts if you bring your crown into the house. If you come into the house and say, hey, this is where I stand in the pecking order, everybody bow to me. That was never the case in our household. We had an equal partnership in every which way. My husband and I split the workload, whether it's taking care of the kids, taking care of the household. We were equal partners in our marriage. And everything we did together for the family. There were times that, he was extremely busy in his job, traveling, when he was a partner in a consulting firm. I supported him 100%. Then when I became CEO, he supported me 100%. So there was never a question of unequal power or unequal anything. It was always, we are in it together. This is the only way it's going to work. And both of us will leave whatever crowns we have in the garage. When we come home, we are mother and father to these two kids, and we are son, son-in-law, daughter, daughter-in-law to our respective families. That's the way it's going to work. And that's the way it did. And that's the way it should.
The one gap I felt in the book, Ms. Nooyi, I'm sorry, is, if you'll allow me, is that you were CEO of Pepsi at a time when Donald Trump was the president of America, and he's such a divisive figure. I mean, you spoke about many of the gender imbalances, inequalities, and he seemed to stoke quite a few of inequalities in American society, yet there's not much of mention in his book. I mean, why, in your position, one may have expected that you would take maybe some political stances, even if they're not partisan. Did you consider them and let it pass? Because I cannot imagine that he was not a big figure while in the last couple of years that you were CEO of PepsiCo.
I think every president, prime minister of any country in the world, once they come into office, corporate CEOs work with them constructively. And every president in the United States that I worked with, or any prime minister or president of any country, has always been supportive of PepsiCo, the enterprise, for the size, scope, and scale of business that we had in those countries. And in every country in the world, we benefit from some policies, we don't benefit from others. That's par for the course. So I have nothing else to add on that topic.
Okay, fair enough. What about public life yourself? I mean, in your book, you speak very admiringly of Hillary Clinton. Have you considered it yourself? I mean, with Kamala Harris doing so well, is public life for you?
No, I'm not a political person at all. I like to do things outside of the political sphere. Politics requires a certain skill in consensus building, diplomacy, and it's just an amazing, amazing commitment to public service. I have the commitment to public service, but I don't have the political and diplomacy and those finessing skills. So I'm happy to be in the private sector and happy to give back outside of politics.
We're coming to the end of the show, Ms. Nooyi. Just the last couple of questions. I mean, we spoke about the challenges of gender inequality in the corporate workspace in America. But, I mean, I sit in India, and would you say that we have a much bigger mountain to climb with that aspect in India?
Look, I think I see the statistics on women in India. Again, getting the top grades, graduating from colleges in record numbers, hungry to engage in paid work, hungry to contribute to the economy. And I see incredible tailwinds. I see unconscious bias at work, at least I hear about them constantly. Pay inequities abound. And I don't think as a country, India has done enough from a practical perspective to grease the skids for women to advance in corporate India. It's interesting, India has lots of laws in the book that support families and women. But I think there's a gap between the laws and the practical implementation, the time it takes to implement them. So I think, I'm in awe of the laws that India has in its books. I think now we have to recognize women as an incredibly talented group of people who can do wonders for India at a time when India is shifting to a knowledge economy, increasingly so. And you need all the talents to be engaged to help India's GDP grow in a very competitive world. I think that it's, India may be a developing market, but the biggest emerging market opportunity you have is within India is women. So if we could figure out a way for India to tap into the power of women, I think India will not only have a demographic dividend, it will have the whole gender dividend for many, many years in the future.
On that note, Ms. Nooyi, I'll thank you. We are out of time, but I wish you all the best. And this book will be a bestseller, you know it as well. Millions of young women and men will read it and be inspired by it, as they have indeed been inspired by your story, of the story of your success. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. All the best, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show.